My name is Brad Parks. I am the co-executive director of AidData and a faculty member at the College of William & Mary. I'm very pleased to be able to moderate this next panel, which is entitled Closing the Feedback Loop, Innovations in Grassroots Monitoring of Aid and Public Service Delivery. We have a great lineup, so I don't want to waste too much time with introductions. I just thought I'd start by providing a bit of context for the discussion, and I think Shanta is going to also ask all the panelists some provocative questions to kick things off. So I think for those of you who have been here for the course of the day, I think there's a strong sense that within the development community, the intended beneficiaries of aid generally lack mechanisms to provide real-time feedback on donor-sponsored projects and programs. That seems to be generally accepted. My sense is also that there's a growing awareness that trying to repair this broken feedback loop is a potentially powerful way to increase accountability and to improve aid effectiveness. I think 5 or 10 years ago, this notion of closing the feedback loop might have seemed far-fetched, but we live in a very different world in 2011. Widespread access to web and mobile technologies has opened up exciting new possibilities to involve citizens in aid planning and aid monitoring. So I've asked our panelists to organize their comments around 3 broad questions. I've had the advantage of being able to talk to them beforehand, and it seemed that these were the sort of cross-cutting themes. So the first question is, how can donors and developing country partners collect useful, actionable information from the intended beneficiaries of their projects and programs? The second question is, in the event that donors and developing country partners are actually successful in soliciting this feedback, how can they make sense of all this information? And then finally, I'd like the panelists to address how can we increase the probability that donor agency staff will actually respond to the beneficiary feedback in meaningful and constructive ways. So what am I thinking of here? I'm thinking of how one might get project managers at places like the World Bank or USAID or MCC to engage local stakeholders in a dialogue about why previous projects failed, how successful projects might be sustained and scaled up. I'm also thinking about how one might increase the likelihood that donor agency staff will make mid-course adjustments based on information from beneficiaries and local stakeholders that is revealed during the process of implementing projects. So in the interest of leaving as much time for the panelists and for discussion, I'm going to ask Shanta to kick us off. And if everyone could just limit themselves to roughly 10 to 12 minutes, I think we'll stay on track. I'm going to just give a brief biographical sketch so you know who is speaking to you. So Shanta Devarajan doesn't need much of an introduction. I think many of you will be familiar with him and his work. He's currently the chief economist of the World Bank's Africa region. Shanta was the director of the World Development Report 2004, Making Services Work for Poor People, which is particularly relevant to our discussion today. Prior to joining the bank, he was on the faculty of Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government, and Shanta has a PhD in economics from the University of California at Berkeley. So welcome, and go ahead and get us started.